What's up, Towson University? My name is Stacey Coles, your host for What's Hot. And if you've been living under a rock for the last week or so, we've had a couple social problems here at Towson after a student has made several threatening and racial slurs at workers, CLA workers in particular, as well as students on Towson's campus. In addition to, after these issues were addressed or these incidents were addressed, he also made a visit to the Black Student Union office as well as the Tower Light office in order to confront some of the people who spoke out about his actions. And today I'm here with John Giuseppe to talk to you about these issues, and he's a student activist here at Towson. So can you talk, you were in the BSU office when this particular student came in and wanted to address you guys about some of the statements you guys had made about what he was saying to the workers and what he was saying to the students. Can you give us kind of like a recollect of what that experience was like?
He came into the office in order to speak to the person who runs this place in reference to the Black Student Union. And he wanted to speak to, at the time, the person who was the highest ranking person on the board was student Shay Elmo at Towson. And we did not think it would be smart for her to speak to him by herself.
Mm-hmm.
So we said, we can have this conversation. We're 100% down with having this conversation, but if we had this conversation, we need to have this conversation in the office. And he did not want to have the conversation in the office with all of us standing there to make sure that Shay was protected. He wanted to have the conversation one-on-one with Shay. And that's when he started speaking about how he was going to file charges against the BSU for defamation and libel. And we started saying that he had no grounds for that, and we also had our own legal team in order to be able to back us up as well. Additionally, we also talked more about how we thought it was dangerous for him to be in this space, and also dangerous for him to be in this space, and even more dangerous for Shay to be in a space with him privately. And that's when he said, you all aren't being rational, so I'm going to take this to the courts.
And this is you kind of touched on it a little bit, but how do you feel, your true feelings about how the school is handling this situation?
I think that as a student activist, and I hesitate to use that word, as a student activist, we get seen as people who are not necessarily well versed on the inadequacies of the university, but part of what my organization does is research and read not just books about the general structural issues, but like policies that Towson has, histories that Towson has. And I think that for me, this is not a surprising incident. But what is surprising is that it would have never been brought to light. People would have never known that it happened. And the Black women at the LA Cafe would have had to continually serve this man free venti coffees without any police present if we did not bring this issue more to light. So in my opinion, I think that Towson University's handling of the problem, we won't know until the problem emerges, until we can have evidence of the next time the problem emerges and see how Towson University handles it differently. Because the only reason why the proper measures were eventually taken was because of the Black Student Union, my group, ONSR, White Student Allies, the Social Justice Collective full of professors, Tower Light, allowing us to put our voices out there, like without all those forces working, and the SGA as well, without all those forces working together, we could be in a very, very different situation where those women have nothing.
So my question for you is, what do we do now?
All right, so first, we should definitely study because finals are coming. And second, we need to create a hate bias policy that is universal, at least universal enough to be accessible for students to know that this is what happens when hate bias occurs. Two, Towson needs to treat those issues. For example, when you first come into Towson, you have to sit in a theater and you have to watch a play about why sexual harassment is bad. There should also be a play or a marketing campaign or something done about why racism, hate, and bias is bad as well. And then three, there should be a constant, whenever issues like this occur, there should be a university stance that says, like, not only do we not tolerate this, we are against this. And I think that that's a very important thing, to not just be like, we don't like this, but like, we are actively opposing this in every single shape or form. In the same way they are actively opposing sexual harassment. And then the last thing I think is that we should encourage people to learn about these issues and to interact with people who are studying these issues, and try to find organizations like mine, Organized Network of Student Resistance, organizations like BSU, organizations like White Allies for Radical Solidarity, like organizations like this that are actively trying to not just say that Towson is bad, but to actively try to make Towson a better place. And I think that is what we try to do more than anything. So those are things we try to do.
Okay, so thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.